get any better than this. A fudgy chocolatey brownie, the perfect snack full of deliciousness. Surely it's our life mission to eat the perfect, most chocolatey brownie, and that's literally all I do. And today we're going to be making the best, most tastiest brownie you will ever make.
Now let's check out all the ingredients.
We have 300 grams of dark chocolate, 150 grams of unsalted butter, 100 grams of plain flour, and we have 200 grams of soft brown sugar and 30 grams of cocoa powder. We have 4 eggs. We have 3/4 of instant coffee powder, half a teaspoon of salt, 100 grams of chocolate chips, and 2 tablespoons of hot water. Let's begin. And I'm starting with the brownie base. 300 grams of dark chocolate and 150 grams of unsalted butter. Melt it at a really low heat, like the lowest heat you can get it. And I'm melting the butter and the chocolate using the double boil.
Chocolate and our butter and put it in this bowl, then we're going to put it in the pan. Let's get the chocolate. It's stuck. Alright, now we're going to get the butter. Get the butter.
Now we're going to place our chocolate and butter over a really low heat, like the lowest heat you can get it, alright? So let's place the butter and the chocolate right on top. Wait until it melts. You can already see that it's melting along with the chocolate and the butter. Look, can you see it's already melted? Look at it. Just going to mix it.
Now we're going to crack 4 eggs and mix it with 200 grams of soft brown sugar.
Now let's add in the egg and the brown sugar into the bowl and give it a nice mix. So let's add the brown sugar first. Alright, now let's add in the egg. Now I'm going to give it a nice stir. Whisk it to a light and fluffy and you get that almost caramel color and it's tripled in size. So now we're going to mix. Okay, after we've done whisking our eggs and soft brown sugar mixture, we're just going to put it aside and now we're going to sift our dry ingredients. So here we have our half a teaspoon of salt, our 30 grams of cocoa powder and our 100 grams of plain flour. Okay, now we're just going to put it inside and we're going to sieve it all together. So you see, the purpose of sieving here is because so we don't get any chunks of the dry ingredients in our brownie mixture, so then our brownie becomes more dense and lovely. So we're just going to keep sieving until we've got all of the dry ingredients down into that bowl. Alright, now to make our brownie as chocolatey and cocoa-y as possible, we're going to add the secret weapon. Don't tell anybody, but we're going to add instant Nescafe coffee. But what coffee does, it doesn't actually give that coffee flavor to the brownie, but what it does, it actually enhances the cocoa-y flavor inside the brownie, and then it takes your brownie to a whole different place where you get that cocoa-y, chocolatey, fudgy explosion in your mouth. So now we're going to add the coffee powder into our hot water and we're just going to mix until we get our coffee. So here we have our coffee and we can add that into the brownies. Now we have all our mixtures at the ready to make the best brownies ever. So here we have our egg and soft brown sugar mixture, our dry ingredients, our melted butter and dark chocolate, our coffee and chocolate chips. So now first we're going to add our melted chocolate and butter into our soft brown sugar and egg mixture. You know, chocolate is one of those things where when you're in a crowded room and someone says, I don't like chocolate, often that comment can stop a whole ongoing conversation. Because I think most of us, we like chocolate and I can see why. It makes us feel good. Look at how beautiful that is. The chocolate just melting. Our brownies are going to turn out so good. So we're just going to keep mixing. Now we're going to add in our dry ingredients, which is the cocoa powder, the plain flour, and also our salt. So we're just going to add it in. slowly. And then we're gonna stir for a bit. So now we're going to add our coffee into the brownie batter. Okay, let's add the coffee. In goes all the coffee, and we're going to give it a nice stir. So now we're going to add our chocolate chips, which I've mixed with some flour. So when we add it into the brownie batter, it doesn't actually sink into the bottom, and instead it stays right in the middle. It clings onto the batter of the brownie and it stays there. So now we're going to add our chocolate chips into our brownie batter. So we're just going to pour all of it in, and we're going to mix. Look at this, look at this. It just melts like that. It's so silky and beautiful. Then you can also see those chunky chocolate chips inside. Imagine biting into this. You know, my mom has a really special name for these brownies. She calls them turn your frowny upside downy. And they really do turn your frowny upside down. Neat. So now we're going to pour our beautiful batter here into a pan. Alright, we're at the end of our process of making these beautiful brownies, and our last step is to knock a bit the pan so the mixture just spreads all around the pan before we put it in the oven. But don't do it too loud until your neighbor hears you. So this is how the brownie looks like after it's baked and it's cooled now. Look how beautiful that is. Now this is the brownie to end all brownies. I mean, if you're gonna have a brownie, at least make it the ultimate one. See you next time on the next episode of Rishi Bakes. Bye!